Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. And before we jump into it, some of y'all in trouble, man. So, yo, everybody who was in the comment section talking about the bed not being made and stuff, the bed wasn't made because my girlfriend was actually still asleep in my last video. And she said, stop being mean, because she was up working on the painting that she did. She was trying to figure out how to get it on OpenSea and all of that stuff. So she was up working until 3 a.m. So that's why she was still asleep. So I just had to let y'all know, man. Like, don't be coming at her. She takes that very seriously. But yeah, seriously, we're gonna be jumping into another video. This is actually a great video. We're gonna be talking a little bit about comics, and some of this stuff is stuff that I've actually gone over in my private group where I talked to some of the people who are in the group about some of my thoughts and opinions on comics, and it's crazy how closely it aligns to someone who actually collects comic books and who actually knows and understands the space. And it lets me know that, like, I love seeing videos like this from someone who is really an expert, because it lets me know that my understanding of stuff it's good. Like, I don't think that I know everything. I just study, I research a lot, and I come to my conclusions and understandings. And seeing someone who really knows and understands the comic book world coming into Veve like this and really explaining things, definitely subscribe to him. Check him out, because this is something that needs to be seen. His content is actually amazing. He needs to become one of the biggest in the community, so in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we jump into it, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, and all that good stuff. And yeah, like, let's see this video. He's going to be talking about the worth of the secret rare comics in Veve.
Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Today I'm going to talk about those secret rare comics. Are they worth it? And what do I think about them short term, long term? Let's get to it.
Let's go, buddy. I don't know if that's copyrighted.
Okay, so a lot of people have asked me questions about the secret rare comics, and they're expensive. Obviously, they're not expensive if you get them on the drop for $7. That's the best case scenario of all time. And I'm sure some people have got lucky doing that, but
Oh, and by the way, like, some of the comics, I know that a lot of people are probably going to grab some comics after hearing what he has to say. A lot of these comics and stuff he's going to talk about and their value and things like that. This is stuff that I actually have already addressed. I've been addressing in my since I started my group, the group chat down below with like the private Ecomi investors chat. I have actually literally recommended a lot of these to them and told them that this is what I'm holding. A lot of this stuff is already what I'm holding. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like, I do bring the amount of value that I do have. I try to bring a little bit extra there, because obviously they're paying, they're supporting, and they're allowing me to take this on full time. So I give them as much value as possible. So anyway, let's jump back in.
even if you did that, let's talk about would you want to invest in one of these at the current price? And, would you hold it long term? I will add this right in the beginning. You want to look at it in two ways. What is the value now, and what is the value, midterm, and then obviously long term. And long term is weird because this is such a new environment. Is long term 12 months? Long term might be 12 months. For example, if you had one of them and they were worth 1,700 gems, and the reason why I say 1,700 is because that's what a Todd is at. So would you trade it for a Todd? In most of these cases, I think you would. So that's what I mean by you're looking, because you want to maximize your gems.
And I will just add, in comparison to where the comics have the potential to go, which I talk about more elsewhere, trading certain comics for a Todd is the complete wrong move that you would want to do. The thing about a collectible like Todd is that it's based around you caring about Veve to begin with. There's like, what, 10 plus other Batman to choose from on the platform. Batman is not as rare as some of the other things that's being released, especially these comics with proven real world value. The Black and White series was a dying series before Veve breathed life back into it. So the success of this set is going to be based around how successful Veve becomes. So that means that investing in Todd is something that's going to have to be proven. If someone's going to, the only way someone's going to care about Veve's first collectible is if Veve is some massive brand. Like, once Veve gets to the level of a known name like Netflix, I'm sure someone will pay for the first movie ever on Netflix, right? Like pay extra for the first or a Netflix NFT or something of the, like, like that's when something becomes valuable because it's historic. It's something, it's great. Like that's when that value comes. Right now, it's going to take time for Todd to build like some of these other things that's just going to explode past it in the short term. Overall, I believe Veve is going to get to a point where Todd becomes the most valuable collectible potentially on the platform as a whole. I think Todd will get there eventually, but Veve has a lot of work to do to get to that spot. Veve has a lot of work to do. So Todd's value, I feel, is very closely tied to Veve's value. And it's going to take a while for Veve to build up.
And so if this one is worth 1,700, you could trade it for Todd, and that makes more sense. Although the Todds, as long as I've been, examining for maybe 6 weeks now, the prices, they have been at 1,700, 1,800, dropped down to maybe 1,500, but they are very, very stable, which is both good and bad, depending on what you want, right? Okay, let's get right into it. I have taken the comics, and we're only talking about the secret rares today, and broken them into 3 tiers. Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1. I'll go through Tier 3 and the 2 tier and Tier 1. And the Tier 1s are probably pretty obvious. And I'll just throw those out there because let's get those done with. People know that. Okay, so Tier 1s in my mind are Marvel Comics #1, not to be confused with The Marvels. So, and it was the first NFT comic. We know it's going to be worth a bunch. Right now it's at 31K. I have no ability to know whether or not that's a good price. You should, buy in or not. I certainly would not buy in at 31K gems, but that's me. Now, if you think about some of the numbers in terms of that comic physically, is a really expensive comic. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you had one in a high grade, it would be, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's a very old comic, an iconic comic.
One thing you'll notice is his perspective actually comes from the comic book side of things. So it's a great perspective to have. He's telling you from the comic book side of things, but also one thing that you want to have is you want to have a mindset that's in the middle. You want to understand the crypto side of things. So the value of this from the thing about Veve assets is, unless it's Veve originals and stuff like the Marvel Mighty series, that's like just digital things. These things are going to gain value from both sides. It's going to gain values from the comic book side and gain value from the crypto side. So once you mash these together, like the more limited or scarce the pieces are, that's going to add to its value because that's the crypto side. And then the real world value coming in, that's going to boost it and push it. I think that honestly, these are it's going to be strange to see how things play out over time, because I feel like these can potentially match the real world values at some point, but honestly, down the line, the real world values can boost and become way more rare because they're going to become more and more scarce. Like the real world editions are going to go down. They're going to get old. They're going to get accidents are going to happen. There's going to be less of them. Veves will always exist. So while they'll be high, I think the Veve is going to really, especially if Veve explodes like we all think that it could, it's going to boost the price of real life collectibles because those things are going to be more sought after because of a platform like Veve. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a lot to think about. It's really a lot to think about and a lot to consider. And it's a new space where there are no experts.
So with only 600 available, once you get some really big time comic book collectors into the app and they believe in it, that's the key, right? Do they believe in it? Could it be worth more than $31,000? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we have so many examples of a lot of comics that are already, physical comics that are already worth more than $31,000. So $31,000 might be actually a good value. Because you only need to convince 600 people that, this is going to have way, way more value in the future. And they probably exist.
Yeah, there's a strong case to be made, especially if it's a person who loves comics and is in crypto and understands the crypto space. When you see avatars selling for what they're selling for, then you see these Marvel comics and like, come on. come on, like it's like coming from the crypto side of things, you can easily see the potential. And that's why you have these whales coming from crypto, taking advantage of these opportunities, buying everything up because it's common sense. They're looking at these avatars too. They're probably invested in these things that comes with perks and stuff like that. And yeah, they realize what's going to happen in the future. And obviously they're not in a position where they're thirsty for a quicker return. So they're willing to buy these things and hold and wait for the inevitable to happen.
So the other one, which I think is in this really big upper tier, is ASM number 1. Now, if you don't know, ASM number 1 is not the first appearance of Peter Parker Spider-Man in the physical world. Amazing Fantasy 15 is. But this is his first solo. It's the second appearance. It's an expensive book in the real world. It's the first NFT. It's right now at 8,300. That seems, once again, I am not going to buy it, but that seems like it has some room to grow. It has been going down, actually, so maybe if you hold on, you can get it for less. But that one is a long-term hold. I think it will have some good value. The other two is Fantastic Four number 1. Fantastic Four number 1 is an iconic book in the physical world, super expensive. Fantastic Four team is iconic. I do believe they'll have a movie coming, but it won't be for years, 2-3 years out. And it's at 7,700. I wouldn't buy for that much, but it might be a good price at 7,700 for all the same reasons I've been discussing. The last one in the highest tier in my mind is Ultimate Fallout 4. Miles Morales is a huge and iconic character, only growing in popularity, especially with the younger generation. I bought that one. I have the, don't get excited, this is the facsimile. So this is like a reprint of it. The real one, as I've discussed, if you have a 9.8 of the real one, I think it might be $30,000 US. But any grade of this is a really expensive comic, thousands of dollars. And this facsimile I got off of eBay for $50. So like I said, it's a reprint, but still awesome. And I did buy that secret rare. I bought it for 1,700 gems, and it has increased to 3,200. There's something about Miles, which is everybody loves. He's obviously in the Sony PlayStation video game, and I think that's a good one. Now, is that one going to exceed Amazing Spider-Man number 1? No. I think some of the other ones are going to, but I do think it's one that will hold value, and a lot of people know the character. Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out soon. Okay, the one that is on the very bottom of tier 1, some people may disagree with that, of course, is Daredevil number 1. He is a huge character in the real world.
Out of all the other ones like that, it's almost like this stuff is stuff that like just from living life, knowing these brands and understanding these brands. It all makes sense when you compare it to the popularity in real life. It's like it's evenly aligned. I think the only one that kind of caught me off guard maybe was Fantastic Four. I didn't realize how when I was like studying and starting to do my own investments and stuff like that, I didn't realize how fantastic. I was completely ignoring Fantastic Four at first, and then it was a point when I did research and that switch flipped where it's like, wow, it's valuable. So it's like, yeah.
Comic is expensive, but not as much as some of the other ones like Fantastic Four or Amazing Spider-Man number 1, etc. So, yeah, it's at 2,900 gems right now. It has been moving up, and that one, long term, is probably a good one to grab. I don't know if I'd grab it at 2,900 once again, but maybe it could be. In the real world, that is an expensive comic, especially in a high grade, and you have some people that are huge Daredevil fans. Huge. Can you find 600 of them that are diehards that want that comic? You probably could. And in the world of comics,
and one thing that I do want to say is you also have to remember, and this is what I'm saying. Like when you watch videos and you take in this information, you have to respect and value the perspective that is coming from, but also understand that he's coming from a place where he understands how many people love something, how many people love this thing, and what really is driving the value is the love and passion for it. In crypto, it's not about love and passion most of the time. These guys have way too much money and want to find ways to make more money with their money. So they're going to be driving these prices and pushing the value, making tweets and stuff talking about, wow, this is so undervalued. Just wait and see what, like, this is what these guys are going to do. They're going to drive up the price of this stuff simply because it's in the crypto space. And then you compare Veve's stuff in the crypto space to some of the other stuff that's in the crypto space. It's no comparison. So a lot of this, I think a lot of people are going to be surprised how some of this impacts um changes things in the NFT space, even in comparison to the real world values. I think that we could see a lot of these in similar conversations and price ranges to some of the real world stuff potentially at some point. So yeah, but the NFT space is it's a lot of value that comes from the NFT space, and I'm pretty sure that he's not from the NFT space, so he doesn't speak from that perspective. But this is why it's important to understand both perspectives. But this is where we're going to end the video. He's went through tier 1 of his list. Make sure you all check out the rest of his videos so you can hear the other tiers that he talks about, and subscribe to his channel because he brings a lot of value throughout this video. It's definitely a lot of stuff that you want to soak up, a lot of information to have. It's very important to constantly educate yourself and improve your way of thinking. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. As always, be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn notifications so you stay updated with everything going on. And yeah, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace out, Joe.